This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? Spring is magical and ever-changing, and we're catching it at a spectacular time when we're making the transition from daffodil season to tulip season. And there's only one place that I can grow my tulips, in the vegetable garden behind this fence, because tulips are the favorite food of deer. As we talked about a couple weeks ago, I'm a no-till gardener, so I thought, what a perfect place to plant tulips, because this is going to be my tomato bed. And so in a month when we plant tomatoes, these will be gone. And the other thing is, I don't feel bad about snipping them because they're not out in the garden. This is my cutting garden, basically, and I can make a nice bouquet, which is a fun thing to do. And one more thing, this is some garlic that I planted a couple years ago in a straw bale that at the time was this big. Now it's rotted down. It looks pretty good. I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to use it for the greens. Let's make a nice flower arrangement here. This is a really special tulip. This is called Red Emperor, and it's the first tulip I ever grew. 30 years ago, I was growing this variety, and that's why it's so special. But we've got to go back and take a look at a very special daffodil, too. Every spring, I am legally obligated to tell you about this daffodil. This is Sir Winston Churchill. It's a late bloomer, a long bloomer. Oh, and it smells like gardenias. Do you need to know anything else? That's heaven. Well, I might have waited too long for this job, but I think we'll be okay. We're going to support these peonies. I've got a couple different ways to do it. One is called a grow-through grid, and the other are just some stakes that are going to go around it. And you know, peonies, they're going to grow twice this size with big flower buds, open. We'll have a rainstorm, and they'll be laying on the ground. When we're going to stake plants, we want to get to them as soon as we can, and we'll see how it works. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect. I think this style is definitely going to work. They're already almost invisible, and when the plant leafs out, we'll be in good shape, and it's going to hold those buds in place. This is going to work out perfect, actually. So we got the right height here. They're going to grow through here, and this is going to support them, and hopefully we won't have a bunch of pretty peony blooms on the ground. These things are going to work out great. I feel a lot better about my peonies. Let's check out what's going on in the greenhouse, and then we're going to plant some perennials. We'll check it out. Everything that we planted a couple weeks ago when we were in here has sprouted. Beets and mustard and lettuce, all sorts of stuff. We definitely need to do some thinning, but I do have some perennials in here, and we're going to plant those next because this is one of the best times of the year to plant perennials. A couple weeks ago, I did a story on Martha and Charles Oliver. They run a business called Primrose Path, and they've created a lot of really cool heucheras. This is frosted violet and stainless steel. I've become obsessed with their plants. I think over the next year or two, I'm going to fill this whole edge with their plants, different varieties. They are tough as nails, deer resistant, and like this kind of filtered sun, at least when the trees leaf out. First, we'll dig a couple planting holes. Rocky. Each hole gets a little compost. Now we plant. Now we plant. The most important thing about planting heucheras is you don't plant them too deep. They are very susceptible to crown rot, so we'll leave that center of the plant up above the soil, not too deep. Oh, isn't that pretty? And this one's stainless steel, which has a different color. I'm looking forward to seeing the flowers too. Isn't stainless steel beautiful? And you can see where that crown is. That's perfect. And always water your plants in right away. I'm actually giving them a little bit of fertilizer too. I am infamous for being cheap and buying pots that are cracked. This is not one of those pots. This was a very special Christmas gift from my fellow Trib columnist and radio partner, Jessica Walliser, and the handyman backed into it when it was out by the greenhouse. I've moved it in here. It is too big to move back and forth, and so over the winter it cracked. I've got a bunch of pots like this that I can't get in that have cracked, and all I've done is put this ratchet strap around here. I'm going to tighten that, bring it close together, and I'm going to use this stuff called goop, and I use it for pots, for statues that I buy with the heads knocked off, all sorts of things. And we're going to put this right back together with a little bit of this glue. This will allow that glue to set up. That's about where I want it. Okay, let's finish up. For more information about everything we talked about today, check me out online. That's a place to see columns and videos, and also, come on Max, a story about organic gardening. And now until next week, I've got about 6 more pots to fix. We'll see you then.